introduce our next speaker. He's an MC, so when they asked me to come and MC here, I was like, really? Really, you want me to do this? And when you guys of that caliber are here. He's an MC, he's an author of the book Excellence or Nothing, and he will talk to us now on the topic inculcating the spirit of excellence. His name is Ronald Muringai.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ronald. So tonight I'm going to speak to you about the spirit of under the topic of inculcating a mindset of excellence. Now I know, of course, when I had a lot of messages coming through when I sent the first communications out, and the people are like, okay, what are we calculating, bro? In essence, we are ingraining, hardwiring. We are making sure that hopefully by the time you leave and step out of that door, you won't think the same about excellence. And that's my dream, that's my vision. I've written the book. For most of you all have bought the book. For you all who haven't bought, I think we've only got about 10 copies left for our first edition. I mean, God's been good. It's been absolutely amazing in the past few months. I think, I remember a friend of mine told me, actually sitting right there, that if I sell 200, would have done a great job. So to get to where we are now, it's just God's grace. Hello. And obviously it had you, most of you guys, helping us out in regard to that. But thank God for where we've come. Please make sure you grab yourself a copy before you leave. They're outside there. I must sell them, otherwise no one else. I don't have a marketing team, so so make sure. There's only about 10 copies left. They're on the table there. If you don't get a copy, there won't be any left. So tonight I'm going to speak to you, like I said, inculcating a mindset of excellence. And I'm going to structure my talk into 4 different parts. First of all, defining what excellence is. We've heard the word a lot. We come across it a lot. We've seen it on our posters at work. But what does it actually really mean? Secondly, I'll speak to you about why is there a need at all to be excellent? Why the fuss? Why can't we just continue as we are? Thirdly, I'll go into the barriers that are currently holding us back from achieving that state of excellence where we're supposed to be. And finally, of course, I'll give you a few nuggets from my book. And you obviously, I'll leave you with just enough so you can buy the book and get moved. That's the whole point, isn't it? But I just want to ask a question first before we start. Mr. Matebula Jr. has just arrived with his wife to be Lulu. They're still working on the excellence thing when it comes to time, but if you were to die today, we are all going to die again. It's not a funny thing, it's not an evil thing to think about. But if you were to die today was your last day on earth, and we had to bury you tomorrow, what is the thing that the world is going to miss about you? What is that thing that we're going to say, Ish, Papa is gone, the world is a lot less in this regard? What is your current impact in this world? I'll leave you with that, and obviously wrap it up at the back. We'll talk about that as well. So in trying to define excellence, I've kind of looked at 3 different definitions coming from 3 different dictionaries. And the word itself finds its roots in a Latin word pronounced excellere. So excellere, I think it's pronounced that way, which means to surpass or to go beyond. Where we are expected to go, but one who is excellent is one that goes beyond. And in essence, the Oxford Dictionary says this: the quality of being excellent. That's how it defines the word excellence. The quality of being excellent. So that's the first definition. The second one says excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. Now I know all of us in here want to be good. We want that accolade to be called those who are good at work, at home, in our families. We want to get the good tag. But what's stopping us from getting that? We'll talk a bit about that shortly. And then the final definition that I have for you, the third one, says excellence, which comes from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Excellence is the quality of excelling or possessing good qualities in high degree. Sounds very fancy schmancy, indeed it is. But guess what? It is possible for each and every one of us. Now, why bother why should we even be bothering ourselves about this excellence thing? Why is it even an issue? You know, did Ronald have to sit down, take time, write a book? You know, we know black people, some at home, they don't like reading books, you know, and we went all the way to try and talk about this excellence thing. What's the point? Let me give you a few headlines that I've just seen recently. The first one says this: distracted employees are costing South African businesses up to 89 billion rand a year. Now, what's a distracted employee? I'll tell you now. Presenteeism is costing some businesses 5% of gross domestic profits. Gross operating profits. My economics mind is taking over now. Presenteeism is defined as a phenomenon when employees are at work but are not productive because of distractions. Now, that's, of course, that's all of us, right? Because when we're at work, and then Honey sends that message, "Hey Siri, how's it going?" In that instance, you've clocked in at 8 o'clock, hopefully. It's now about 30 minutes later, and you get that message. What happens? You've got to reply. Otherwise, you're going to get your head beat off, right? All's going all right. I never understood it before I got married, that I have to say everything is fine. This is what I'm doing now. I'm going to this meeting, etc., etc. And then at the end of the day, I get asked, "So how was your day?" I've been updating you every hour. Anyway, so this report was authored by Momentum. My bishop here works there. She would know. She's not. I'm not lying. And it came out in September, just a few months back. And it says, the results show that on average from this report and this research, 27% of employees go to work but don't always work effectively because they get distracted at some point. So obviously that conversation goes on and on. Of course, it's on WhatsApp, so that means you have to take away time from your computer or your workstation or your meeting or whatever it is that you're doing to kind of concentrate on that. Before you know it's your friend, before you know it's your mother, before you know it's a brother, you have to make a call, you have to go to the loo, etc., etc. And if you add all of that time up, this is what they're talking about to say companies actually lose 8-9 billion when it's all combined across the national economy. Now that is a lot of money. If you gave me 8-9 billion rand today, gosh, you'd find me in the Central Convention Center. I'm telling you, I'll be that guy. But think about it. This is just the amount of money we're losing because of being distracted at work. Secondly, I won't dwell too much on that. There's another headline. South Africa has the worst labor relations in the world. I'm Zimbabwean and I can afford to say that. But this report was authored now by the World Economic Forum in May of this year. It says this: South Africa has the worst labor relations employee in the world, ranking 137 out of 137 countries. There is little or no trust between employers and employees, hence cooperation suffers and the conflict escalates quickly, resulting in severe damage in the relationship and costing money, obviously, and employee efficiency. Let's all admit it. If you're not happy at work, you're not going to be as efficient. You know, I remember there's one time when I was having fights with my managers. You know, when you're that rising star, this company I was working for, I worked there for about 5 years. I think that 5 years I was promoted for about 3 times. And I was that guy where the MD, of course, would say, "Okay, shucks, I've got a meeting in Namibia. Ronald, please, go attend that meeting for you." I was that guy. So obviously, if you're that guy and favor is upon you, there's obviously going to be Joseph's brothers out there who are like, why this one? Mawujela says, one of those people, of course, was my manager. I hope she never gets to hear this message. But anyway, so it got so tough that working in that environment was sucky. I did not look forward to going to work because there's always going to be something wrong that you've done, etc., etc. I'm sure some of you can testify to that. And it's happening wherever you've worked before. You're giving your best, but you're not getting the best from your employer. Mind you, they're not even paying you enough for what you're doing. So, in essence, you kind of get, what can I say, you lose trust, you lose the efforts that you have to give the best that you can at work because you are now in a state of not so much happiness with your employer, whoever it is. And I can testify to that, like I'm saying, this is a story, but I'll leave it there because 30 minutes, that one I don't know. The third thing I want to talk about as well, that kind of contributes, that I want to highlight as well, is the broken relationships in general in South Africa. I mean, racial relations in SA, who can testify that they're not as ideal? We're not where we used to be. Open the news, keep pennies battle today. Tomorrow, kikatsavelas, etc., etc. We're hearing these things happening every day. There's a racial incident here, there's a racial incident there. And all of that is just saying 24, 25 years after South Africa has gotten its independence, we'll call it that, there is still issues that are as a result of apartheid policies from the past. Now, why is it that there's issues between white and black? Hey, you can look at the results of that, obviously, from what has come from history. But we are sitting with a problem where we cannot relate, and there's always these problems popping and coming up because of our deep-seated issues of mistrust between the races. That's one thing. Secondly, family relationships. Funny enough, IOL did a survey just a few months ago amongst the youths who were suggesting that a marriage contract should be drafted so much that it's just a 2-year thing, and then at the end of 2 years, we sit down and reevaluate, then we say, do we go ahead with this marriage or do we not? Now this is the youth, this is the ones that are coming behind us, and they are seeing marriage as an institution that is almost on a contractual basis. Let's try it out with the legal implication, but if it doesn't work out, we walk away and we try other partners. What does it say? Social fabric is kind of weakening. The marriage institution is not as respected as it was prior. Divorce rates, I think, were at 50%, if I remember the last report that I was just reading. So in essence, about 50% of marriages don't last until death do us part. They'll end up at some point in divorce. Now that is catastrophic. That just says we are not being excellent in our marriages, in our relationships. We're not giving enough to ensure that this thing actually survives and goes through things that we go through in life. Societal relationships are broken down as well. We've heard Cheryl Zondo testifying the other day in court. Harrowing testimony, being asked graphic and grueling questions. But what does that all mean? When we listen to that, when we think Mokwena being killed in such an evil and dastardly manner, and all these other stories similar to that, what does it say about our society? Are we being excellent in our relationships as individuals, as human beings? Are we trying our best to ensure that we get to a place where we have been created to be and live harmoniously with each other? And the answer is definitely no. So I just kind of want to present to you just a few problems that I think that are common to all of us, which kind of impede us from getting to the place of being excellent as we should be. Because, by the way, excellence is a default position. When God puts us on this earth, not a sermon, by the way, but when you get created and you come onto this earth, you are by default an excellent product. And you are supposed to therefore live an excellent life. So what happens in the process that kind of takes us away from that default position where we end up giving 9 out of 10, and then 8 out of 10, etc., as we go along. Now, in our careers, for example, some of us who are fully employed, working a 9 to 5, there's always the thing, yeah, this is not my ideal job. If I had the choice, I would actually be doing drama. If I had the choice, I would actually be singing. But because I have to pay bills, I'm in this job. So there's that thing where we are at work because we have to work and pay bills. Now that already takes away your devotion and your commitment to giving the best that you can at this thing, because you are thinking, I'm doing this for the bills. 1. 2, it's not in my job description. Who's ever saying that here? No one. You guys are saints, I know. So a manager asks you to do something, and obviously the first thing comes to mind is, it's not my job description. Because guess what? Hey, I didn't sign up for this. I'm paid to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that period that I'm telling you about, that I was fighting with my manager, I even printed out my job description. I stuck it on the wall there in my desk. And anything that I got requests via email, I'd first check. No, sorry, not in my job description. That's how bad it got. Because I had lost that love and that desire to actually try and be excellent in whatever I was doing, you see. And the third thing, they don't pay me enough. Who amongst you gets paid enough at their job? Let's just check. Road check quick. Sandy is a CA, of course. But they give you by the bucket, you know that's it. The whole point is this. There's always a reason that kind of takes you away from you giving the best that you can on your job because of one reason or another. I'll just give you 3. You can think of the rest. In business, there's obviously the thing called cost containment. Businesses are by nature organisms that exist to make a profit. Now there's no way somebody's going to go to CIPC, register a company, so they can be to give away money. Of course, there are charities out there, etc., etc. But when we talk about a business as an organization, it's there to make profit, right? So I'm going to make 500 of these and sell them at a price where I get something beyond the cost of production, which is what is profit, and that'll keep me in the game into the future. Now, when we're trying to maintain and contain the costs, we obviously go back, look at the procurement function. Are we saving here? Look at the product. Can we get cheaper products? Look at the etc., etc., and to try and bring down that cost so that we actually increase the margins of profit. And in that, there's an inherent danger where we end up now looking and getting stuff that's not up to standard. Just because we need to push the profits. When we report to the board of directors, we need to report good numbers, get good bonuses, so we can get what? Good extensions of our contracts. So business in itself is already falling into the unethical zone. The business cycle in the community and obviously the economic uncertainty that we're in right now. Guys, petrol, okay. What is happening? So you know that whatever you used to pour in your tank in January this year versus what you're pouring now into your tank is a whole lot different. The number of liters have dropped. And why is that? Because the economy is not doing great, crude oil price has gone up, etc., 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 direct translation. And all of that puts pressure on business to say we need to contain costs. Where can we cut? Can we cut employees? Can we cut this level of product? I mean, we're getting this product from Brazil, but guess what? We get it from China, they'll charge us half the price. Let's get the Chinese product. But if we tested the specification to ensure that it's actually as good in quality as that in Brazil, no, because basically what we're trying to chase is what? Cost containment. That affects that. But ultimately, there's also just businesses who are downrightly unethical and practicing in a manner that is not excellent at all. They're not even trying to chase it. VBS, that Bishop mentioned earlier, you're reading about it in the press every day. What is that? People have lost their jobs because people are sitting in big high offices and being unethical in their practices. You look at, what's that other auditing company? KPMG. What are they doing? Signing off books. And generally, you just will walk into any government department, except of course the one where my wife works. I mean, that one is. But other government departments, my gosh, there is no spirit of excellence at all. People are just working for the sake of. I see that KFC ad and I see reality. All of us laugh at that because we see it as something that is real. You know, offline. How often? Really? How often are you offline? Are you ever online? You get what I'm saying? So the whole point is that we are in trouble. If you look at our relationship now, let's bring it down. We bring it personally. I want you to, by the time you leave here, think differently. So let's bring it to yourself. They started this thing. Why don't they call me first? Why don't they apologize first? Why don't they greet me first? Etc. 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 Are you giving all that you can? Are you saying by the time you go into your grave, you have given all that has been deposited inside of you with that kind of mindset and attitude? Right? And everywhere else, in academia. I mean, if you're studying university or wherever it is that you're studying, you know 50% is the golden mark. My boss used to say, 51% is 1 mark wasted. Now, we are striving to just get over the line. So we get that module, go and do the next thing, 201, 102, whatever it is. And it's already, we've inculcated mediocrity because we're looking at just making the bare minimum. I don't have to do 60%. What is it that you are capable of? Is 60 what you can do? Is 80 what you can do? We'll never know. Because what you're just chasing for 50 more this module and go to the next thing. So already, if we look at sports, I mean, Manchester United, anybody support that you say still here? How much have they spent in the past season buying players? And look at their performances currently. Shocking. Let's not talk about us now, man. But anyway, of course, all these things that I'm talking about, they don't apply to you guys. You guys are saints. I mean, shucks, you are excellent people. Your mindsets are sorted. But what I'm trying to bring out is this, guys, there is a problem, big societal problem when it comes to that state of trying to achieve and attain excellence. Personally, corporately. And this is the thing. Ask yourself 3 questions and sit there. In fact, ask the person that's sitting next to you. Ask them the first question and say this. Are you giving the best in your marriage? Ask them, don't be afraid. Unless you're sitting with your husband or wife. Or, if they're not married, are you giving the best in your family relationships? Are you giving your best in your societal relationships? Good question, yeah? Second question, ask them this. Right? Look them in the eye. Could your manager pick you for the Best Employee of the Year award? Ask them. Practical, right? Are you that guy? Are you that person? You know? finally, ask them this question. Are you an all-round good employee? And I mean by this, do you arrive on time? Do you check out at the checkout time? You know, we're not saying you are running from traffic, etc., and pulling in signals. Are you the model employee amongst your colleagues? That's your name. Right. In other words, we have a problem. We have a deep-seated problem, and it's a problem that's not across the aisle. It's not a problem that I see next door. It's a problem that I have. It's a problem that we have, and we need to address as a society, but it starts with us as individuals. Now, how do I do that? So I'm going to give you, like I said, 3 nuggets that's coming from my book. My book is made up of 20 chapters. Each chapter has its own theme, talking about something that you need to change. And I've left pages for notes. Yes, people were saying, no, I was just trying to fill the book with pages. What is it that you have learned from the previous chapter so that you're going to apply in your life before you move on to the next chapter? Now, I'm going to take out just 3 chapters. I'll speak of this. And the one of the chapters starts with a quote from Martin Luther King, who says this: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep the streets as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, not that I would listen to that junk, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause and say, here is a great street sweeper. Now, that's already a magnificent mind shift that's required. It sounds so high level, but is it something that's impossible for you and me? And why would he say that if indeed it is impossible? Now, we think of Martin Luther King, of course we see him addressing crowds, etc., etc. He was that guy. You know, I have a dream to see Zimbabwe become the richest country in Africa, etc., etc., etc. But what you don't know is that this guy actually suffered from depression at some point in his time. And he wanted to commit suicide. I know Tabang is here, he can speak, please, if you're feeling like that, speak to him. I know guys were problematic, but we are getting. And Martin Luther King, that same guy who tried to commit suicide, by the time he died, and up until to this day, he's been there now about 34 years, I think it is, there are about 750 streets in America, different towns and countries and towns and cities and counties named after him. 750. Imagine that kind of an impact where streets are named after you because you have done something great. And why am I even bothering about this guy? Because he was a man of excellence. He was an example. He wasn't just saying this quote because guess what, it's something that's good to say. Let's inspire the people and raise up their emotions. But he lived the thing that he spoke about. How do I know this? Because he was top of his class in school. Now, does that mean, of course, you have to be intelligent and be the one that has the highest IQ to become that person? Not necessarily. Hello, Mohammed. Excellent timing, sir. We're almost done. He was also president of what we know as the SRC. I also contested for the SRC, just a small confession. I never made it to president. Those political hounds made sure they voted me out. But I was there. He also won the Nobel Peace Prize at age 35 for his non-violent resistance to oppression of the black people in America. 35 years old, he had won in Nobel Peace Prize. Now I'm 37 and I'm thinking, man, you know that I'm comparing with him, but you know, I mean, something, can I have at least one street? Can we talk to the mayor of Centurion? May I have one street named after us so I can also have something like that? But I'm just trying to say, this guy was a man of excellence and he lived it. Now, how does that apply to you? Why should you care about Martin Luther King? Are you arriving to work on time, first of all? Are you giving your wife or your husband the best that you can? Are you sure when you go to bed and you look the other way, you have done the best to make sure that the person sleeping next to you has gotten the best out of you on that one day? Are you sure when you look in your kids' eyes, if you're taking care of your kids, that they can say, this herewith is the greatest parent in the earth? Because they are looking at what you're doing, giving out all. Now, like I said, excellence is not an unattainable goal. It's not an unachievable thing. Because all of us were made excellently, deposited with a spirit of excellence, and we just have to live it out. Can you be that guy? Can you be that person? Secondly, the second nugget I want to give you today is from another chapter as well. the quote that opens that chapter says this: if you want to achieve excellence, you can get there today. Today. Now I know some of you are thinking, you know what, when I get that job, or when I marry that woman, or when I make that money, etc., only then will I start to do things excellently. Why don't you start today? Would that not lead you to even a greater path going forward to all those goals that you're looking forward to in future? You want your business to grow. Why don't you start being excellent with your customer service today? Why don't you start giving excellent pricing today? Why don't you start giving excellent quality in your products today? Why wait till tomorrow? Why is it a tomorrow's function? Now, every day you're going to get an opportunity to make sure that you do excellent. It's a meeting that you're sitting in, you have to make a contribution, it's dragging long, someone is, there's always people who in meetings, they want to show themselves where they are there. They have a voice, they speak louder than others, and they're more articulate and clever than the others. And I suffered that as well, because I just look and I think, wait. And in that, I do not give my input that I'm supposed to give, because guess what? I'm thinking, they're wasting my time. So are you that guy? Or are you the one who says, you know what? Much as I see such mediocrity around me, I'll try and rise above that and show that, by the way, there's actually a way of excellence we can go, and this is the way. Are you that person? Now, you have to make delivering this excellent type of attitude an everyday thing. It's a small quotation that comes through, it's a small thing, it's a small client, small customer. I used to work as a waiter before I went to varsity. And as customers come in, you just know, okay, this is where people, you're looking at them, these ones are middle class whites, they don't have money, these ones. And the level of service that you give to them is already commensurate to the tip you're expecting from them. Like people on the other hand, they never tipped. They come, buy a meal of 500 rand, ribs and chicken, that's what you buy in Gospel. Ribs and chickens half the time, or just ribs, and they'll give you 5 rand when they're done. 5 rand, what am I supposed to do with that? So already, I'm expecting that at the end of the conversation at the table when they leave. So the time I'm serving them, I don't even know them. Who are you? How many of you felt that in a restaurant that this waiter is not taking care of us? Sometimes it boils down to that. Somebody's messed up before you. So we judged now as a nation because of the majority of us who don't tip the waiter. Possibly we now don't tip because I wasn't taken care of, but guess what? It's just feeding into the cycle and perpetuating the whole thing. But what I'm trying to say is this: you've got the opportunity to make a difference. Are you doing that? Are you the person who's saying, you know what, I'm just going to be the excellent black guy who actually tips and gives you better than the white guy? Bill was 200 bucks, instead of me giving you 20, I'll give you 40. Can you be that person? Can you be that person who gives that extra level of excellence? Your boss has asked for a report. Can you not lie and say, okay, I'm still trying to coin up the numbers, etc., because you're busy with something else, and just say, boss, I haven't done it. She's laughing, she's convicted. Final chapter, running out of time, that I'll pick on as well. The opening quote says this: excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have the virtue of excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. What we are, we repeatedly do. Now tell the person that's next to you and say, we are what we repeatedly do. In essence, what I'm trying to say is, excellence is therefore not something that's unattainable, as I've been trying to hang around the whole night, but it's something that you can get used to. It's a quality that you can get yourself into the groove thereof. And how is this possible? Because you need to repeat it over and over. So this time, I wanted to make sure that the boss needs their report on Friday. Let me try and beat that record and give it to them on Thursday. Next week, let me try and give it to them on Wednesday. I'm increasing the level. How many of you know TQM, the Japanese model of Kaizen, etc.? You studied business management? Too many scientists in here. But the whole point is, try to better whatever you did the last time. Not so that your boss is happy. Remember, get me right. You're not trying to please them. As you know, you have been created excellent. You have been created to deliver excellence. Can you just be? It's not outside of your capability. It's something that you can live and do on a daily basis. And hence, therefore, you need, what does it do if you don't do? If you're not excellent the first time around, what happens? It costs you the next time around, because now you have to redo the thing that you did initially. You're wasting time, you're wasting resources, you're wasting money. But if you're done excellently the first time, then what? You're moving on to the next thing, innit? You're actually growing and doing better going forward with your life. So, my encouragement in this, as I try and wrap this thing up, is that excellence is in your medalla. Ne? Which part of the open that? Yeah, that's the one later. Somewhere in your medalla. Excellence is something that's in your mind. You have to make sure that as I do this thing, you are faced with 100 different decisions on a daily basis. But where you decide to say, I'm going to give my all, is up to you. Or I'm going to give less, is up to you. Because my boss is not treating me right, I shall not do this right. Because I'm not being paid enough, I shall not do this. I won't treat the customers. As a waiter, we used to actually throw away cups and teaspoons because we're saying they're not paying us enough. So I'm making up for my lost salary. We come from the tables, glasses, into the bin trip, space for the pay. You know, there's other tools as well. There's procrastination. You know, some of us suffer from that. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do that assignment, you know, it's due, I've got an exam on Tuesday, I have to study for it. I need to also be excellent. But there's also, that's a topic as well that we deal with in my book that you need to read about as well. We talk about stage evaluation. So you've gotten better at this time. This time last week you were here. Where are you next week? Are you going to look back and evaluate your performance to see that you're getting better or are you getting worse, etc., etc. And the final thing that I want to touch on as well is that you need to be teachable to be excellent. Because if you've got that thing of knowing it all, you won't get to the next level. Because if you know it all, then what's the point? What is it that we can give to you? What is it that we can impart to you if you're already in a preset mindset of knowing it all? So in conclusion, just those 3 points I want you to take home tonight and hopefully change your life is this. If you're going to do anything, do it right the first time. Don't waste your time. Because it looks like you're wasting other people's time. It looks like you're wasting your employer's time. But you're actually wasting your time because now you're going to have to redo the whole thing. Fix that problem that you did, correct those mistakes, etc., and waste valuable time and money. Do it right the first time and save everybody time and money. Secondly, excellence is an attitude. Put it on as a cap today. Leave this place and say, I will do nothing less than excellent. I won't spend 2 hours on WhatsApp at work because I have to work. I'm paid to work. If it's my business, from 8 to 5, I have to make sure that I'm investing in that business to make sure that it grows. Because this is my business. Nobody's going to take care of it for you unless you do. And thirdly and finally, excellence is a habit. Choose it today. Apply it. Perfect it. Repeat. Choose. Apply. Perfect. Repeat. And like that, we become better as people and become excellent. So that by the time you die, we'll say, here lies someone who gave their all. Here is someone with an excellent mindset and an excellent attitude, and they are lying in an excellent coffin. Can you be that guy? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.